Here's the secret to turning tax deeds into millions fast that nobody is talking about. I'm going to walk you through the simple, basic blueprint to doing this so that you can go from where you are now, maybe you've never done a deal in real estate, and realize that inflation is squeezing everybody. Retirees are having to go back to work. So if you want to avoid all of that and make some money with tax deeds, this video is going to help you get results fast. So let's dive into it. If you're watching this, you probably know that tax deeds are one of the best ways to get into real estate because you can buy property up to 90% below market value mortgage free. Tax deed is when a homeowner doesn't pay their property taxes. The government says, hey, pay us our money or we're going to auction it off. The starting bid is the back taxes owed, and you can get some of the best deals of your life at these auctions. You can do them online from the comfort of home, and it can really change your life. For example, it changed my life back in the day. I was working on an oil rig, hating life, and it was this business that allowed me to launch into real estate and never look back. Now, time is of the essence, as we can see in the world here today. Things are moving fast. We have inflation, we have tariffs, we have uncertainty in the stock market. So let's use real estate. There's a reason 90% of millionaires made their money in real estate. The biggest problem new investors face is they just watch YouTube and they don't take action. So after this video, I want you to take action. So let's go through this step by step. It's Dustin Hahn here. We are the host of the #1 YouTube channel on tax liens and deeds, and let's dive in. So the very first thing you need to do is look at this map on the screen now. Anything in red is a tax deed state. This is where you can buy tax deed property. Opening bid is going to be the back taxes owed. So choose one of these states. That's step one. Decide. We're going to start off with tax deeds. Tax liens are great as well, but that's a different video. However, most of the principles in this video can be applied to what we're talking about here with deeds over to liens. So choose a county that you want to get started in, or basically choose the deed state, get the list of counties. You want to call them up, find out when is the auction, find out how many properties are coming up, find out if they have any over-the-counter tax deeds that you could buy literally today, okay? The next thing you want to do is you want to first master this process and do it for yourself, okay? You want to actually do some deals and get the deal quickly. Some of you guys watching this might even have an over-the-counter tax deed property by the end of the day if you take action with the trainings on our YouTube channel and things like that, or the book that's behind me that's free for anybody on the channel. So take action. Find the deed sale, find if they have any over-the-counter deeds, all right? So you wanna master the basics first by getting a deal. Now, as you are mastering the basics and learning the business, this is huge. You want to think with the end in mind and build a system that is able to replicate yourself, right? And I always call it in our business, the getting hit by the bus model, right? Most people, they work a 9-to-5 job, they want to get out of it, but then they get into real estate and they just created themselves another job. A true business that can get you to the multi-million-dollar level grows and scales, whether you're, sadly maybe hit by a bus, or, maybe you want to be on vacation. So you want to build a proper business with the structures that have withstood the test of time. So these are the basics. And the key thing is to think with the end in mind, right? It's one of the 48 laws of power, is to think things through to the end. Most people just kind of, they're like a little headlight view, right? They only see what's in front of them at the time being, because we evolved like that, just to, where's our next meal coming from? So a lot of this, we have to really get over the programming that's in our reptilian brain, which just thinks for the moment and doesn't really care much about the future. So we want to care about the future and create systems, because you're going to be doing it anyway. You're going to be doing the research, calling the counties. So all you need to do is create a spreadsheet. There is a Google Chrome plugin called Loom. And once you've done a few of these, you want to just record yourself doing the property research, getting the list, pulling the comps, getting the comparables, checking the title. So you have that as your very own training library. So from there, you'll have this huge library, and maybe it's going to take you 10 to 15% more effort up front, but it's literally an ounce of proactive work can help you make millions in real estate, because you'll then have a system. So once you've got a few properties, you now have a training library. The next thing, and one of the very first things you want to do, is have somebody come help you in your business. You can hire an assistant, you can get a college intern, basically bringing on somebody to take that load off your plate, so that then you can focus maybe more on figuring out what the max bid's going to be, or going to look at property, or sending people to go look at property. So this way, you have all of this getting done. You're over here making the high level decisions, and they're basically throwing things over, punting it over to you, and you look at the bigger picture of the business. Real quick, if you want some help with this stuff, we actually do take people by the hand and help them one-on-one. So if you want to get a deal within the next 30 days and have someone take you by the hand, show you where the auctions and the properties are, there's a QR code here on the screen. You can book a free call. We can have a free discussion to see if you want some help in the business and get you going. There's also a link below in the description to help you do that, and we help people do this every single day. It is awesome. So anyways, back to the show. So you're going to document everything, keep it in a spreadsheet, use Loom. From there, if you want to hire somebody to help you out, you can outsource it. Maybe you could go on fiverr.com, onlinejobs.ph, and bring somebody in. So there is a big arbitrage on the American dollar. For example, in India or in the Philippines or in Croatia, $1 US could equal 20, right? And this is a great thing you can do, because what you're able to do is then create an employment opportunity for somebody else who's looking for a job. There's a lot of people in the world right now who are struggling and they don't have jobs. You know, they're doing things that they hate. And this is a great work from home opportunity for somebody else. And it could be for $2 to $5 per hour, depending on where you hire them from. And then from there, you know, they're helping you do the research and they're helping build the business. So once you get that going, you start making some money. One of the next things you want to do is bring in somebody who could be perhaps called like an inside sales rep. And these are folks who are going to help analyze the deal. So basically every step of the way, you're working yourself out of the system and bringing somebody in else to run it for you and help and contribute. Now, one of the things that you're going to have is you want to be able to recognize drivers in the business. So you'll have certain people who come in and help, and their only job is going to be to maybe pull the county records, do the research, right? And that's going to be their job. That's all they want to do, and they're good at that, right? That's just the type of person, type of archetype they are. But then you'll have folks who come in who you give them something and they take the ball and they innovate and they grow, and they'll say, oh, what about this county over here? I'm going to start researching over here to help us get deals. Now, when you bring on the next hire, at some point they could be coming in for a percentage of the profits of the deals, right? It could be 5, 15, maybe 20%, depending on how much they do. And this is great. I call this intrapreneurs, right? Because you, as the business owner, you know, you've taken the risk to leave your job, to invest in maybe some real estate training, to invest in property. So you've taken that risk up front. So if you can create a great environment where someone else can come in and help you grow, but at the same time, they get a percentage of their efforts as well, it is a great win-win situation. And that's truly how you build a business. That's how I try to build my businesses, where I try to give everybody the autonomy of like, hey, if you want to improve a system, or if you think this is great for the business, let's go that direction. And then they get, you know, generally a percentage or a commission. And it's a great opportunity for them because they don't have to take the financial risk, but yet you get the benefit as well because you're funding it. And that's really, in my opinion, how you grow a multi-million-dollar tax deed business. And basically what you're doing is you're doing this business intentionally with purpose, right? So if anything were to ever happen to you, you know, you get hit by the bus, you fall off a cliff, you get sick, this business can continue to provide for you and your family. You could pass it on to your kids, you could sell the portfolio. That's really the frame of mind to be doing this. And one of the questions I always ask is like, how do I work once and get paid for life? And that's how you do this business with systems. For example, we just finished the Texas tax deed auction, and as we're out looking at properties, we're taking pictures, and our team is analyzing, pulling the comps so that when we get off the road, all of the comps are pulled, boom, all of that work is done for us. So you want to be able to do this with purpose, and really, when you're leaving your job, stop thinking like an employee and think like somebody who's going to be scaling a business. And even if you're working in a job right now, you can be using this type of methodology to help your current job to maybe make more money to get into real estate. You know, think of how much your boss would appreciate if you try to innovate a system or take some of these ideas to him so that you become more valuable, you make more money, and then you can be getting into real estate yourself. That is really what this is all about, is creating authentic win-win situations by you being the entrepreneur, taking a little bit of risk and putting in a little bit of effort to build something. And what I can assure you is the effort put into this business compared to, going to college or university or anything you've ever done in your life up to this point, if you put a fraction of that effort and energy into this business, you can become a millionaire with tax deeds, creating systems, and getting some home run deals. So, hope you like that video. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you like this. And if you do want some help with this business, there's a QR code here. You can book a free call with us and we can talk about taking you by the hand, getting you a game plan, showing you where the deals are, and showing you how to pull title and avoid the mistakes of the business, and share with you more in depth of our scaling systems. So there's a QR code here. There's a link below in the description. You can check it out, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.